Everyone thinks a plane crash is always catastrophic. They're wrong. On February 3, 1959, American Airlines Flight 320, a Lockheed Electra, prepared for its final approach into New York's LaGuardia Airport. It was a routine flight from Chicago, carrying 68 passengers and a crew of 5. But what unfolded next was anything but routine, challenging every assumption about aviation safety. The Electra was a relatively new aircraft, a state-of-the-art turboprop designed for speed and efficiency. Its sleek lines and powerful engines represented the cutting edge of commercial aviation in the late 1950s. This wasn't some ancient biplane, but a modern marvel. Captain Lawrence F. Nonnemacher, a veteran pilot with over 16,000 hours, was at the controls. Alongside him, First Officer Ralph L. Thayer and Flight Engineer Frank H. Turley completed the cockpit crew. These were experienced professionals guiding their charge through a dark, wintry night. The weather over New York was far from ideal. Visibility was poor, with mist and light rain. LaGuardia, positioned on Flushing Bay, was known for its challenging approaches, especially in inclement conditions. The city lights blurred into a hazy glow below. As Flight 320 began its descent, air traffic control cleared them for an ILS instrument landing system approach to runway 22. This system provided precise guidance, a crucial tool when visual cues were limited. The pilots were relying heavily on their instruments. However, a critical misunderstanding began to unfold. Nonnemacher believed he was cleared for a different approach, one that would have brought them in higher and further out. This subtle yet significant error would set a chain of events in motion. The aircraft descended rapidly, passing through the outer marker, then the middle marker. The altimeter readings showed them lower than they should have been, yet no immediate alarm bells seemed to ring for the crew. The focus was intently on the instruments. At a mere 100 feet above the ground, the crew realized something was terribly wrong. The runway lights were still not visible. Instead of the familiar concrete, a dark, reflective surface loomed in their forward view. It wasn't the airport at all. Captain Nonnemacher instinctively pulled back on the yoke, attempting to arrest the descent. But it was too late. The Electra struck the freezing waters of the East River just off Rikers Island at approximately 10:55 p.m. The impact was violent. The forward fuselage crumpled and the left wing separated. Water immediately surged into the cabin. Chaos erupted as passengers, many still strapped into their seats, were plunged into the icy darkness. Despite the sheer terror, the plane remained surprisingly intact, floating for a brief but critical period. This unexpected buoyancy offered a glimmer of hope, a narrow window for survival that many wouldn't have anticipated in a ditching. The crew, though injured, reacted quickly. Flight attendants began guiding passengers towards the emergency exits. However, the rapidly flowing current and the freezing water presented immediate, life-threatening challenges. Rescue efforts were swift. Boats from the Coast Guard, NYPD, and local fire departments converged on the scene within minutes. The dark, choppy waters made locating survivors incredibly difficult, but the urgency was palpable. Of the 73 people on board, 65 miraculously survived the initial impact and immersion. However, 5 passengers and 2 crew members ultimately perished, succumbing to the impact injuries or the brutal cold of the East River. The subsequent investigation by the Civil Aeronautics Board, CAB, focused heavily on the communication breakdown and the crew's approach procedures. The question wasn't just how it happened, but why such experienced pilots made such an error. The CAB concluded that the primary cause was the captain's misidentification of the approach clearance. He believed he was executing a non-precision approach, when in fact he was cleared for an ILS. This fundamental misunderstanding was the bedrock of the tragedy. Contributing factors included the poor weather, which reduced visual cues, and a possible misinterpretation of the altimeter. In the heat of the moment, under pressure, even seasoned aviators can fall victim to cognitive biases. The ditching of Flight 320, though tragic, provided invaluable lessons for the burgeoning aviation industry. It highlighted the critical importance of clear communication between air traffic control and flight crews, especially during instrument approaches. It also underscored the need for enhanced cockpit resource management, CRM, emphasizing teamwork and cross-checking among crew members. Had the first officer or flight engineer challenged the captain's descent earlier, the outcome might have been different. The incident also led to improvements in aircraft emergency equipment and procedures, particularly regarding ditching scenarios. The unexpected flotation of the Electra prompted a re-evaluation of how planes behave on water and how best to egress. For the survivors, the memory of that terrifying night on the East River would last a lifetime. They faced not just the physical trauma, but the psychological scars of an event that plunged them from the sky into icy depths. The legacy of Flight 320 isn't just one of error, but of resilience and adaptation. It's a testament to the continuous evolution of aviation safety, born from the crucible of human mistakes and the relentless pursuit of perfection in the skies. This river landing, a chilling near catastrophe, reminds us that even with advanced technology and experienced crews, the human element remains the most critical variable in the intricate dance between man and machine. Next, uncover the untold story of the deep-sea search for a lost atomic bomb.